Every car brand has something it's known for. For Honda, it's high-revving four-bangers. For Toyota, it's reliability. BMW has painstakingly stuck with rear-wheel drive almost all of its life. Mercedes tops the list for luxury, and Subaru is known for its rally-bred flat fours. But Alfa? Well, let's just say that's an oddball. I've never driven one. I've merely heard about how most owners seem to spend more time under them than actually in them. But today, I finally understand. This is an Alfa Romeo, and this is not a brand that I normally delve into for one very good reason. They're not known for being terribly reliable. But people have long told me that there's just nothing else on the road that has the same soul and character and driving experience of an Alfa. So when this opportunity came up to take one of the 3.2 litre V6 159s for a drive, I couldn't refuse. When people say that nothing drives like an Alfa, they'll probably also tell you that nothing looks like an Alfa, and that's because nothing else does. Alfa's basically the only brand that still uses that unique sort of V-shaped shield-looking grille there at the front. And with this one here being a more sort of modern rendition of that, it has these really cool-looking individual lights there at the front. And then when you come down the side, this weird sort of curvy body, but then with the boxy arches that come out at the front and back is very unique, and the wheels in a typical Alfa fashion look quite cool as well. Round back, this one is obviously the touring model, but they also came in a sedan as well. It's got two really nice twin exhausts there at the back, and another thing that's quite interesting is that I put a Flow Designs lip kit on the back end of my car, but this one almost has one pre-installed on the back there. It's very interesting. And the lights are really cool as well with the sort of individual elements in it. It does remind me in a way of my Accord. The inside of this 159 carries on the extremely unique design elements associated with Alfa Romeo. The gauge cluster is really cool and reminds me in a lot of ways of the new Giulia that Alfa is selling, because in many ways this is the older version of the Giulia that Alfa has now. Another thing that's very unique about this is that you can tell that Alfa is really trying to hark back to their cars of the 50s, 60s and 70s. I mean, it all started with keeping the grille for all of these years, but even on the inside here they have three sort of very classic styled gauges here in the middle. Instead of putting them in front of your face, they put them here on the dashboard, which is something very unique. Build quality on the interior is very Italian. It's not the best. The steering wheel feels great, but every other switch and control, you can tell it's just not the nicest feeling interior, but everything at least looks very nice. I do like that side of it. Now naturally, with this being the touring model, it has more boot space than the saloon would have, but because this is designed as more of a sort of form over function type car, it doesn't have the world's most amount of room back there, but at least it's very comfortable, and if you like the way it looks, then you're going to put up with the okay boot space. If we open the bonnet, a process that most Alfa owners will be awfully familiar with, we find a 3.2 litre direct injection double cam V6, known to Alfa enthusiasts as the JTS engine. Now sadly, this came after the legendary Busso V6 that a lot of Alfas had before that. However, this in many ways is superior to the Busso V6 because it makes 191 kilowatt and 322 Newton meters of torque, and in this case it's paired with a 6-speed auto, but you could also get this with a 6-speed manual. It's just in New Zealand, most people don't really tend to buy manuals. Even though this V6 is A, paired with an automatic transmission, and B, shares more parts with a Commodore V6 than it does with an Alfa Romeo, this is still a sensational sounding engine and really makes this car come alive. What a truly sensational car. I have been incredibly surprised by this. I did not think that I would like an Alfa Romeo of all things, but honestly, just listen to it. The engine sounds fantastic. The gearbox works really well. It's no ZF, you know, it doesn't rev match downshifts or anything, but it's smooth, it locks up the torque converter, and you pull the pedals and it shifts up pretty darn fast, and does a little fart on the upshift as well, which is really cool. You can definitely hear it when you put the GoPro on the back of the car. And on a decent set of tyres with all-wheel drive, this thing really hauls through corners, eh? It is just so joyous to drive. The steering is direct, nice and heavy. Like, I've never driven an Alfa in my life before, and yet I just feel like I know what I'm doing. It's just so familiar, and you can absolutely fly along this bit of road, and it's drama free. It feels very safe, but you can enjoy a grunty little V6 engine, great transmission, awesome steering. The handling is so nice as well. Drop it into second. You get the little upshift noises and stuff. Oh yes, you see, even in third gear it really gets moving, eh? Like, I've just been so surprised by this. In terms of recommending this, it is challenging because, of course, you know, you have to accept that it's not going to be the most reliable. But if you want something that no one else has, that you can have your own little bit of fun in, you know, kind of in a bit of a gem, you know, that nobody has really heard about or anything like that, then this is the car for you. You know, a lot of people try and say that you're not a true car enthusiast until you've owned an Alfa Romeo. And I don't really think that's true. I think you can be a car enthusiast without owning one of these. But if you own an Alfa Romeo, you are most definitely a car enthusiast.